So, welcome everybody. I am delighted to be here today with my guest, Claire Myers Vitale from Claire Myers Consulting. So, welcome, Claire.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. So, Claire has an incredible transformational story to share with us today that involves not just business success, but also how that ties into her personal mission as a foster parent. So, Claire, yeah, very warm welcome to our podcast.
Thank
Could
you.
you start by just letting everyone know, all of our listeners, what you do and a little bit about your business?
Yep. So I spent 10 years in the wealth management space. So our business really focuses on building teams out for wealth management advisors and wealth management practices. And then because of some incredible referral partners, we also have a niche in the nonprofit space. So mostly wealth management, but then we also have a great niche in nonprofit. We're based in the US. I live out in Sonoma, but my team is all over the country. And gosh, we have a blast doing what we do.
Brilliant. I love that. Very important too. So
Mhm.
let's start with tell us about some of the challenges that you were experiencing. Let's take it 6 months ago. Yeah, I think no, probably less than that
Not
actually.
even.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
four,
even six
four months
months.
ago. Yeah, tell us a
Yes.
little bit about those challenges you were experiencing back then.
Yeah, so gosh, financial. I mean, really at the end of the day, I had to lay off a few years ago. I've been trying everything not to have to do that again.
Mm.
And really, it was this we'd have a good month and then we'd have a bad month. And then we'd have a great month and then we'd have a really bad month. And it was exhausting. I've got a pretty decent sized payroll.
Mm.
And really, there were some very clear things that I needed to do, but I didn't have the confidence to do it. So I didn't.
Mm.
And I just felt like I was digging myself into this financial hole because I did not want to go through team changes again or anything like that. So I just felt like I just could not get out of this hole. And it created so much anxiety and so much exhaustion, actually more now that I'm can see the light,
Mm. Mm.
than I even realized when I was in it. I mean,
Um,
I wasn't working out, I wasn't taking care of myself, I
yeah.
wasn't just so many things impacted because I just felt this, I mean, very literally a weight of, oh my gosh, this is not just my family. This is my team's families, and they bring in good income for like if I can't do my job,
Right.
they're going to suffer too. And that was just eating me like I can't even describe.
Yeah. And what were some of the, just so our listeners can probably relate to it even further, like the
Mhm.
day-to-day challenges that were affecting, let's say, your operations? Like, how did you know what were those things that you saw happening in the business?
Before centered excellence or after?
Yeah, before.
Before, I knew we needed to charge more.
Yep.
Our fees were gosh, half, sometimes a little bit more than half what industry standard was. So not like niche, even though we are niche, but I mean, our fees were just so low. And then the other one was if I looked at all of our open roles, there were half of them that I just knew we would never place. And we were spinning our wheels, spinning our wheels, spinning our wheels, which is so frustrating when you need checks to be coming in the door.
Right.
Yet
Yeah.
I have a client saying, hey, what's going on with this role? And I'm like, well, you're working with four other firms. I don't even know why you're asking me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So prioritizing the ones that actually were going to make us money too.
Yeah, exactly. And that can be the case, can't it? Sometimes you can feel like it's that I've got lots of jobs, but actually we're not converting those jobs. And so,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then the glaring one was if I stepped out of the business for any period of time, if I was sick or if, we were foster parents, so we have additional children in the house, every time I stepped away, even if I put my time down to 2 hours a day, business development would just go blip, completely stop, completely fall off.
Mm.
And I just didn't have the systems in place. And you could very genuinely see a dip in revenue. And we could not put our finger on how to fix that while also being able to continue to grow our family in a very unique way. So
Right. Right, exactly, exactly. Doing the things that you want to do, but at the same time, which is why you have a, your own business in the first place, but at the same time,
yes,
how do you grow your business as well as meeting those family, those family desires, but also, expectations.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I understand because you said the financial situation for you reached that kind of critical point. What was it that made you decide that Rocket might be the solution for you rather than other options, let's say?
Yes. So I had been following you, Katie, and Nikki for probably 4 years, I think, 3 or 4 years. And now I know some of the outreach. Now I know that it was coming in a specific way, but I didn't know that at the time. But just you pinged me like right at the right time.
Mm.
I also I was open to a different solution, even if I invested in the program. And if I'm honest, when we joined Rocket, we did not CMC, my business did not have the money. And
Yeah.
so I actually personally paid for Center of Excellence because, and I'll be reimbursed now that we have money again, but I was like, I told my executive assistant, I'm like, you know what? I'm doing this because this is a Hail Mary. I'm
Yeah.
going to commit to this for 6 months. You just reached out to me right at the right time. There was enough of like the business stuff, but I also could tell that you cared about the person as an individual as well.
Mm.
So it was kind of a combination, right combination of finding you all.
Yeah. Great. Okay, thank you. So let's talk about your transformational journey, because as you say, it's actually only been for 4 months, doesn't time fly? So let's talk about what you've changed in
Mhm.
your approach for running a recruitment business since you've joined us.
Yeah. So when I upped my fees, which is, and you know what's wild is not one person has balked at it.
Yeah.
That's what's like so crazy to me. And we have business in inbound business. Just it's just funny. Because you just are like, I fought it for so long.
Yeah.
But a couple other very strategic big changes and
Mm.
that we made was one is fan club.
Yep.
So we already had really good what we call in our world centers of influence. So centers, referral partners, people who know us, love us, trust us.
Mm.
But this is a more strategic, the fan club is a more strategic way to consistently engage with them. We're constantly putting out great content. So, I might ping them a blog that I wrote or a financial compensation study.
Mm.
So the fan club work has genuinely increased our inbound leads because just those touch points just keeps us top of mind with those clients.
Yeah, just to agree with you that is a strategy, which is exactly that. It's that shift, really, isn't it? From you might call
Mhm.
luck based, um, referrals to strategic referrals, where there's actually
Yeah.
a system in place for that. So tell us more about, yeah, what that means. What's the difference between that, let's say, and what you were doing before?
I was doing a shotgun approach before, like genuinely doing all the cold outreach. I invested in Zoom Info last year. I mean, just to see if I could get in front of more people. And the reality is, the wealth management world is very small, relatively speaking. So referrals just go so much further.
Mm.
Um, and we do have a lot of people that know, love, and trust us, both past clients, people that we've worked with in the past. My whole team comes from that space too. So as soon as I say I've worked with this person or this person's on the team, people are like, oh my gosh, I've known her for 20 years. It helped create a very natural system to help get some leads in the door.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the gold jobs, like pairing that along with the gold jobs formula, um, I had now have my script, quote unquote. So I have my script and then I have my checklist. Once I jump off a call with a prospect, I go through the fact finder, I figure out, okay, what's the role going to be, all the things, but then I go through and I do the checklist before I commit to working with them because we had to do a big audit when we first started Centered Excellence. I probably cut out 40% of the open jobs. And I had really honest conversations with those clients and said, hey, I need to prioritize exclusive contracts. I would love you to be one because the gold job ones. I'd love you to be one, but I understand if that's not in the cards right now.
Yeah.
So, but fan club and gold jobs were game changers for us right now. I think next would be MVC, but I'm working on that now.
Yeah, great. And when we talk gold jobs for our listeners, so they understand, tell us
Mhm,
what is a gold job?
mhm. So we defined our gold job in 10 different categories, basically a checklist.
Mm,
So it really helps you define, are these people you want to work with
mm,
for us? So people I want to work with, people that are going to pay us
yeah,
without too much like scuttlebutt. Are these people that we can actually close the role? You know, we had an incredible client. They hit most of the gold job profiles, but they were in the Berkshires, which is basically a mountain town that has, 5 people that would be qualified for the role. That's not a gold job. I can't close that. Um, so there was just a lot of criteria, 10 pieces of criteria. And if they meet 8 of 10 or more, or I'm sorry, if they meet 9 and 10, they're a gold job.
yep,
And if they're anything below that, it's silver and bronze. And
yeah,
then below bronze, we won't even consider.
great. So
And
cat,
yeah. And one more thing is it's created confidence in my team.
yeah.
My team was like just spinning, spinning, spinning wheels, and it was exhausting. And so I know that they've seen the shift in me calling clients and letting them go. I mean, my team was like, what? I can't believe you actually did that. We're happy that you did it, but we can't believe you did it based on your past confidence level.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, that brings me on really nicely to ask you that question actually. How has your confidence level changed? Since you've started implementing these things into your day-to-day operations.
Somewhat indescribable. I mean, I just know we do a really great job and we want to continue doing a really good job.
Mm.
Um, to the point where actually there's a handful of clients that I know we haven't done our best work with back in the day, 4 or 5 years ago. We've
Yeah.
been doing this 8 years. That actually next week I'm calling them to say, hey, we've done a lot of work and I know you might never work with us again, and that's completely fine, but I do want to give you these resources. I want to provide some value to you because I know we weren't able to place your role
Mm.
and it eats at me. So just even to have the confidence to be able to go back to them and say that, I think it's good.
Mm.
And then the cost, I don't even waver on that for new clients. We're working on getting the old clients up to the new pricing.
Great, great. So implemented the fan club funnel, which you say is like a strategic approach to your referrals, but also this is a business development strategy, isn't it, ultimately?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, and what's interesting about that is you mentioned right at the beginning that it was like I was spending all this money on cold outreach and
So
thinking
much.
that that was the way that I needed to do BD. But actually, what you're talking about there is what's already in your business, isn't it? It's optimizing what's already within your network.
And those people feel so much more love from us.
Hmm.
And that's been really kind of an unintended or an unanticipated
Yeah.
consequence of it was they're feeling so much more love because I'm spending more time. Again, I create something and that's a value, create an org chart that I'm like, hey, I did this for somebody. Do you want to see it? And we get so many responses like, gosh, you guys are the experts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Brilliant. So leveraging your relationships, being seen
Mhm.
as that advisor, trusted advisor, and being able to give more in-depth information, but insights to your clients as well by doing that. So I think we forget how much is already, especially as you're saying, when you've built a business for many years, which a lot of recruitment businesses have, they've got this, untapped relationships network that they're not utilizing, or they're not aware that are there that they could utilize, both in candidates and clients. And it's actually not until you look at that and put it into a process, as you're saying, a systemized strategy, that they can actually see that they don't need to go out and do new business development. It's already within their, the network or within their grasp.
And we created a fan club. We used Loxo. We
Yeah,
created a fan club pipeline in the deals section, so in the business development section of Loxo.
very good.
And every week, my EA and I go through it and see if we need to move somebody, see if we need to reach out. New people get added to there. So it was something that we look at all the time, which we did not before. It was like, if I have time, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. So great. So the system works for you. So that's in place, and you didn't need, super expensive reach out tools to do that.
No.
Then you've implemented the Gold Jobs Game Changer, which is all about, again, it's another optimized strategy. Get more from the jobs that you've already got, but actually prioritizing those jobs so that you make sure that you're working on the right ones, you're working smartly, and that you're filling those opportunities and giving those gold clients the ultimate of servicing.
Hmm. Yeah.
Great. Let's talk about the results that you've seen then since implementing these game changers. What kind of financial differences have you experienced in the
Mm.
business?
Yes, and you're catching me on such a good day for this because I'll share what I just had some conversations with my team yesterday. So I started the program, I think mid-October,
Mm,
beginning of October, mid-October. We had a down month in November, a down month in December. We were waiting for things to kind of kick back up. We saw the pipeline, and then in January we did more revenue in January than we did in November and December combined. We hit our Q1 financial target, so 2025 Q1 target. Literally, we had not hit that target for the last year and a half. And then what was so fun is I know this recording won't come out for however long, but we are talking in the beginning of April, and I had a goal that if we hit the numbers that we needed to by end of Q1, that I was going to change compensation and get different compensation into the team. So not only was I able to have that conversation with the team, but I'm able to tell the team that this was yesterday, so April 1st, we're at 125% of target for April already
brilliant.
that we know is going to be invoiced in April between offer letters and retainers.
Yeah.
So that we might not actually invoice them on the 1st. It might be that they start on the 9th or something. But
Mm,
given all the offer letters that we have out and the finances coming in and kickoff fees and stuff like that, 125% of target coming into Q1.
fantastic.
I,
Well done.
like, yeah, total. Those calls that I got to make yesterday were everything. I mean, genuinely everything.
Mm, mm,
So.
brilliant. Great. And how are the team? What's yeah, how are they feeling since you made the changes?
Yeah, they're I was going to say impressed, but that's not the right word. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that you had that in you," right? Like basically, I need to get on with it and fire a client or have a difficult conversation or up our fees or whatever. Um, just making decisions quicker. So they feel great. They're so motivated. Right now we're in we were calling it full bloom, but it's a sprint that you guys are putting on through Centered Excellence. My team is couldn't be more motivated, and it's funny, I'm doing like little gift cards to
Great.
Lululemon, Viore, whatever, and they are so motivated. It's so fun. And I think because of it, we'll close. We just have some roles that are stuck right now, and the focus was get those off the desk.
Mhm. Mm.
And they're so
Brilliant.
motivated and they're
Brilliant.
happy. And actually, because of all the work that we've done, we're doing a fly-in a few weeks because we want to do some in-person
Oh,
trainings and things like that.
that's great. So
Yeah.
just tell the listeners a little bit about that sprint. What was that or what is that?
Yeah. So it was coming into the spring season. Centered Excellence actually, you, Katie, put together this program where it's a 4-week sprint to, and it's customized to you. So for us, we had jobs that needed to get off of there, and I saw a little dip in activity. So for us, we went through all the analytics and we decided, okay, our activity is what we're going to track and what we're going to be consistent with. Um, for other people in the program, I know it's finding new clients, so specific number of business development calls, but whatever it is, tracking it for 4 weeks. We're doing 5 because we want to go all the way to Easter. And it's wild to me how motivating $100 gift card is to Lululemon versus this like massive bonus or it's closing a roll. It's just so funny. It's great.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so um, great work. And it's like you say, it's motivational for the team as well as the business, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
So
they're so great.
beyond the business impact, let's talk about how things have affected your personal life. Because as you said, you have a mission as a foster parent, as well as an expectation or responsibility for the business. So tell us how has this impacted you from a personal perspective as well as professional?
Yeah, so we reunified a baby, and when I say reunified, I mean that we had her for a while and then she went to go
Mm.
she was adopted by a different family and they're lovely, but that ended in September. And I'm not kidding. That was one of the moments where I was exhausted. I was not functioning at the same level. I still felt like so much pressure for the business. And my husband and I made the decision, and frankly, Melanie, my executive assistant, we collectively made the decision that we needed to put our foster care license on hold because if if the business isn't running well, I can't be focused on the child that's in our house.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I'm already so exhausted. So I felt like I was floundering even more than I was before.
Mm.
Um, so now my brain is just functioning at a completely different level. I feel like even today, if I got a call today, which is possible, if I got a call today for another child to come to the house for weeks or years or however long they're with us, that I would feel confident knowing that at least some of the systems are in place now.
Yeah.
We're still working on the other ones, but at least some of them, at least revenue wouldn't dip to the extremes that it did the last time we've said yes.
Yeah.
So just bottom line, it's being able to say yes again when a social worker calls
Yeah.
will mean the world.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful, isn't it? Um, because it's so important. And I know we were talking about it earlier for yourself and your husband in terms of, your purpose around the foster parenting and what you want to do and how you want to help children there. So that's incredible. So well done for taking the action because ultimately that is what it's all down to. Strategy is one thing, the implementation is another. So really well done to you there. If you had to break down your success into, let's say, I don't know, simple formula or something or process that other people could follow, people that are listening, what would be the key steps that you would put it into?
Uh, so fan club, would be actually I'll back up. The business x-ray
Uh-huh.
is
Yeah.
one of the first things that you do in the Centered Excellence program. The
Mm.
business x-ray was embarrassing for me. I looked at that and I'm like, oh my gosh, my fees are so low. I knew that they were low here and there, but looking at 18 months of data it was embarrassing, frankly. So that was already a kick in the pants. Um, then deciding what you want to focus on because of the business x-ray
Yeah.
and deciding where you want to spend your time, which I thought was really, it was almost like a map, like a strategy map. Like, okay, if you are deficient here, go here type of
Mm.
deal. And
Mm.
that's what led us to gold jobs. I wasn't lacking in number of roles necessarily. I was lacking in number of good roles that we were actually going to close that were paid. So gold jobs, and then again, the fan club was the other one. And I kept trying to go to the cold space, and Jane, my coach, would not let me. She's like, "No, you're not allowed to also do this. You have to do this at one time." And she just would not let me go away from the process, which
Yeah.
I appreciate.
Yeah, great. Hold your feet to the fire. Keep you on track.
Yeah, she did. So those were, the business x-ray was huge. And now, so, and then fan club and gold jobs.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, we're working on one of the things that we're doing in our fly-in. I want to get the team a little bit more comfortable with most valuable candidates.
Mm.
So as a business development tool, working with some of their close contacts that they've worked with from a client perspective. Um, and then right now I'm in the process of doing my 90-day
Mm.
JFDI plan because
Super.
I feel like we've done so much in 90 days. I need another plan for the next 90.
Yeah, excellent, excellent, and more strategies to follow. Out of the
Yeah.
ones you've implemented so far, the ones you just mentioned, which one would you say was the most significant in terms of impact for you and why? And you might have just answered that with the business X-ray, but I just thought I'd ask the question.
Outside of the business x, I feel like the business x-ray was most impactful because it directed us.
Yeah,
But gold jobs,
yeah,
and it's because I have the script in front of me. And
yes,
it doesn't sound scripted at all, but I have it in front of me and it has the language on how I present my fee. And
yeah.
that, after all the questions that I ask and then I present the fee, I have zero confidence pushback in my own brain about it. I will tell you, I took a business development call last week. I did not have my form with me and I reverted back to my old fees. It was wild. I laughed at myself when I got off the phone. I'm like, what am I doing? So that gold jobs sheet that I uploaded to my iPad and take my notes on is so helpful.
Mm. Well, like you say, I mean, we all need it, don't we? It just keeps us on track. And then when a client throws something in, which happens on calls, you don't kind of then lose your way and start talking about something and then think, oh no, where am I? I need to get back. So to be honest, I think it's the kind of thing that all of us need whenever we're following something which is a system, because we know that way we're not going to cut detour or get derailed.
Mhm.
Um, great. Okay. No, so during this process, for a lot of people, there naturally things come up. Were there any doubts that you had, maybe to overcome, during the last 4 months?
The financials, honestly, raising the fee was the biggest doubt I had. And then honestly, I just had to deal with a fairly difficult client
Yeah.
who didn't want to pay. We did the work, it was, the kind of a typical difficult client, although I don't deal with that very often. I will tell you, I dealt with it. Uh, like in fact, the last call I had with him, it was AI transcribed, and my EA read it afterwards. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you," because I was not rude. I was not anything. I'm not really a rude person, But man, he tried to throw everything at me, and I just stood my ground. And it was because, again, the confidence.
Yeah.
And I brought that situation to one of the group calls
Right.
that you guys run, and I got incredible advice. And that was the morning before I talked to him. It was
Perfect.
just so helpful. So yes,
Yeah.
I've been thrown a couple loops
Yeah.
in this process, but my whole family got taken out for a couple weeks by the flu, and
Yeah.
it really was a good test to see if we had some systems in place. So
Great. Great. So, on the flip side of that, aha moments, what have been the game changers for you?
the first thing popping to mind is my team's view of me as a leader. I
Mm,
don't think they thought anything bad before
mm,
at all. And I think they're motivated because they see changes not only in me, but those changes in me are leading to changes in the business.
mm.
So that's probably one of the biggest ahas.
Yeah. Great.
Obviously, again, gold jobs, just honestly, just having the language.
Mhm,
And I didn't realize that I mean, I go to those morning calls, they're morning for me, they're afternoon for other people, religiously.
mm,
I don't miss them. Even if I don't have a topic, I go into those calls wanting to add some value because
mm.
to me, that's the other reason about this community that's really helpful.
Right.
So I spend at least an hour, hour and a half every day on something centered excellence related.
Great. Great. And you're right, because, within the community, you've got not just the coaches, not just, our team of experts, but you've also got that peer group, haven't you?
Hmm. Yeah, who are so incredible and have, I mean, gosh, we were talking about recruiter compensation the other day and the idea,
Mm.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even involved in the conversation. I was just listening and it was so good. It's great.
Yeah. Great. What advice, Claire, would you give to somebody who's, let's say, in the same position that you were 4 months ago, experiencing, that financial stress, team exhaustion, somebody who might be considering whether to invest in a program like Rocket? What would be your advice to somebody who's in that same position as you?
If you're going to do it, do it. Don't do part of it. Don't like dip your toe in. It's like your business. If you're in, you're all in. And
Mm,
I told myself, my husband, my friends, my EA, my team, like, hey, I'm blocking a couple hours a day, especially in the beginning, it's a little bit more heavy.
mm,
I'm blocking time every single day to do this because I'm committed to it and I'm listening to everything that they say and I'm doing it, even if it's uncomfortable.
mm.
And I think that was the biggest change. I don't think you can pick and choose what you do.
Yeah.
Got to do it all.
Yeah, go all in. And what about somebody who might be listening to this and maybe, the same scenario you were in where it's like, well, cash flow's not there. What would you what would you say
Take
to
a loan, take a loan,
them? Mm,
take a working capital loan and do it
mm,
because it will pay for itself. Just increasing my prices gave us, if I even do the same business as last year, same exact placements and everything, just increasing our prices will give us an extra $500,000 a year.
mm. Yeah.
So just that one change has paid for itself. It's already paid for itself, but
Mm,
take a working capital loan. It will be worth it. I hate to say that, but if you don't have the money, figure out how to get it and
mm,
commit to it for 6 months and actually do it.
mm, mm. Great. Thank you. So before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to share about your experience that maybe we haven't covered?
No, besides, I really do feel like even though you guys are far away from me physically, I do really feel like if I have a question, like something happening with a client, something happening with the team, um, gosh, I feel like I could reach out. Jane gets back to me so quickly, even though we're in different time zones.
Mm.
Yeah, to the point where I have a bunch of family in England and I'm like, okay, I'm coming this year. I'm seeing you guys in person. I don't care.
Good.
I'm making it happen. So yeah.
Definitely.
Um,
Oh, that's great.
it really has been great.
Well,
Mhm.
thank you. And yeah, we absolutely love working with you. So thank you so much for being here. And I hope anyone who is listening, I really hope that you're going to take some gems away from this conversation that you can implement into your business. So question to ask yourself if you're a listener is, what am I going to implement into my business? What is it that I need to take a step forward on? And if you want more shifts in your business, less time, less energy, simple systems that we've been discussing today. These are tactics that will grow your business, create more abundance with a lot less stress and work. Then reach out to us. And if you want the exact same plan that Claire is using right now to take your business to seven figures and beyond, then click the link below this video and we will give you the full plan. We will give you the whole map. So, Claire, thank you so much for sharing your very inspiring journey with us today. And thank you if you were listening. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of our podcast. And until next time, guys, yeah, keep rocking. Claire, thank you so much.
Thank you.